Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review. Probably one of the last shows you're going to see Michael and I on Comic Frontline for the next weekish, if not a little bit longer. We'll talk about that more towards the end of the show, but if you're watching this on my channel, no worries whatsoever. However, we'll talk about that now. As we speak, right now, my comic reviews are going up 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And by this Friday, we will be up to the episode we had last week. So this episode, if you're watching it on my channel, is going up on Monday of next week. Or this week, depending on if you're watching it on my channel. So from the next episode on, next week's episode on, the reviews will be going up once a week on Friday. What's up, Jordan? We got Jordan in the comments. We are doing this live on Comic Frontline. But anyway, that's what's going to be happening. So if you're watching this on my channel and you notice all of a sudden we went from a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I don't know how, I must have done bad math on the days because it was supposed to finish at $3.99, but for some reason it's ending at $3.97, and then $3.98 will be, like I said, that Friday. $3.99 will be the following Friday, and then when we hit 400, that one will also be, no, that one will probably be the following Wednesday on my channel to finish it off. From there, we move forward. After the announcements, we'll talk about what's going to happen. There will be some happenings going on. But till then, this is episode 397, which means there's only 3.
Yep.
3 more episodes. Take this away. 3 more episodes. 3 more episodes until 400, and it's ironic because it's the first weekend of July and
June.
No, it's the first weekend of July.
Oh, the thing. Oh,
yes, we're in the middle of June right now.
Yeah,
So we got 3 more episodes to go.
Right.
Till we hit 400.
We just said that.
Right. So stay with me on that.
I am on you.
First weekend of July. So it'll be after the 4th of July, which is cool. So after we celebrate the 4th of July, we'll be celebrating the 400th DA review. Yep. So we got a lot of books this week. I'm looking at a row, very long row of books.
Well, the laptop.
I know, the laptop kind of covered it. It's a very long row of books. Yes, we know the VR is on the what do you call it, on my bed. We were thinking about working. Anyway, MT is in the house also. Happy birthday. It's MT's birthday as we're recording this now. So happy birthday, MT. We have a lot of books, and then we got a few things to talk about as far as the present day stuff. If you're watching this post live, it's already a week later, so it probably won't impact you guys as much as it would people who are watching this live or are watching this within the next 24, 48 plus hours. If you're watching it the week of the I forget what today's date is, the week of the 19th, then yeah, this is impacting that week. If you're not watching this on the week of June 19th, well, I am really stretching this intro out too long. So, we've got a lot of books this week, and they all were released on
June 14, 2017.
And we're going to try something a little bit different this time for the review. This time, we're going to try a little bit more of a discussion. This plays, yeah.
Because this week was kind of a little average.
Yeah, I would say, and this is the last thing I'll say before we get into the review, definitely keep an ear out for the Dark Avenger podcast. All right, take care, Jordan. You popped in just to say hi. I will be talking a bit about my thoughts on the Dark Avenger comic book review. I was going to put the podcast out early, but since we have 3 weeks left, I might do a teaser podcast where I'll kind of spit out a couple of things that are on my mind and then do a full-on one later after the 400th episode, kind of explaining certain things that'll be going on. We got Shamar in the comments as well. So this is an honorable mention for Predator, Judge Dredd, Aliens, issue number 4, the grand finale of it all. I really like how they wrapped it up. I like, the artwork in this book is very Judge Dredd. Of course, the bad guy does the classic, okay, the aliens are what I've been cloning all, copying and all along, so I'm going to become the alien queen. And it's up to Judge Dredd and the Predators team up with him, and they fight against the aliens. They eliminate all the aliens on the planet, and then, of course, Judge Dredd comes in and kills the main bad guy at the end. And it was really good. I thought that the story definitely... The one problem I had with this series was it took a long time between issue 3 and issue 4. I feel like it's been a while since I talked about this book. When I saw it in my digital list this week, I was very surprised. I was like, wow, I forgot that this was still going on. I completely, you know, figured the series was over, forgetting that we didn't have the last issue yet. That's my only complaint. If you haven't read this single issue wise, I would definitely recommend checking it out in trade. If you're a fan of Aliens, Predators, or Judge Dredd especially. I love Judge Dredd. He has such a personality to him that if you know Judge Dredd, if you're a fan of Judge Dredd, you'll love this book. But the best part was in the end when he tells the Predators after they leave, your boy, if he steps foot on this planet again, it's in violation. And if you break the law, that's my law, I'm coming after you. So he's basically telling them, don't come back to Earth. The planet Earth is off limits to your species, or I'm going to get you. It was funny. Good.
All right.
That was my only digital book.
Yeah. So we're going to conclude this book, actually. John Carter, The End, issue number 5. Thank you, Lord. I'm glad this book is done.
Really?
Just because of the artwork.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
But the story, however, was pretty good. Basically, we all know that John Carter reunited with his son, and Deja Torres thinks that her son is dead. So as the war is going on, they're trying to plan out how they're going to battle in war, and of course, as well as the son accepting his father back into his life, because we got a little bit of a backstory of how and why this happened. And John Carter's just happy that someone who raised him was to be the way he wanted him to be in the future. So just to skip over the whole war thing of what's going on, Deja Torres, as she's trying to listen to what Den was telling her about how she should treat her people. She doesn't accept that, and the SOB, he just dies. You know, I get after someone got him or something. So I'm like saying, oh, thank God, because he was really something else in this book. But as she was going to die, thinking that her son is dead, John Carter saves her in time. And then in the end, she finds out that her son is alive, and they reunite in the end.
Oh, wow.
And that's how it ended the story.
That's awesome.
So I liked how it ended, but the artwork, though, could have been better. That's just my opinion. More horror stories continue. Grim Tales of Terror, Volume 3, issue number 6. And this haunted story is about alligators in the sewer. And really, what it's really about...
reminds me of the Gator movie.
I was just going to say that, actually, and I thought it was going to be just me, but you just took the words right out of my mouth. But
was it alligator or crocodile? I think it was alligator.
Or something like that. Or gator, was it? Well, anyway, whatever it was.
One of the 3 iterations.
Just to keep this short, really, it's just about a news reporter who covers, like, all the stuff that's, like, unbelievable. Like, she did a story about Bigfoot, and she's doing, like, other stories. Basically, like, everybody knows her to do these mythical stories. Let's just put it that way. So she wanted to do the story about alligators in the sewer, because many reports have been saying that women, or basically women, who were killed and missing for months, they didn't know that they were in the sewer, caught by whoever it was. So as the news reporter and the news people are going down to the sewer to find out if the alligators are real or not, they find out why the alligators, they find like why the alligators were capturing the women in the cages. And the reason for that is because, well, they wanted to bless the women. In other words, the crocodiles have their babies in the women.
Let's please move on.
Yeah. And that's how basically that happens. And then the guy dies in the end. So the women were captured under the sewer for that reason. Moving on to now Valiant. Ray, The History of the Valiant Universe, issue number 1.
Rye.
Now this one I felt to be a little bit all over the place as the first issue. And what it really was talking about is, it says the history of the Valiant Universe. It talks about what Ray did.
Rye.
It is Rai?
Rai.
All right, well, Rai did for New Japan, facing against New Father and everything. He tries to move on with his life as, who is it? The Eternal Warriors, like, telling him a story about how he teamed up with Arak, and in this universe, Arak is dead, by the way. Because he talks about how the Unity teamed up, how Shadow Man came in with Jack Boniface and everything. It was just like a whole, and Armstrong's in this with Archer and Armstrong, the name of them was?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They just explain the origin story about how the teams got together, and then it just leads to something that's only just the beginning. So this could be the beginning of a new chapter, if that makes any sense. Like I said, a little bit all over the place, but it was a pretty good read. I'd say check it out.
We are continuing along with Meredith Finch and Iguara Rose, issue number 3. I am loving this series. I am so happy I got into this series. The artwork in this book is gorgeous. The story itself is awesome. We get Thorne's backstory at the beginning of the book. Rose kind of comes more into her powers. We find out more about the old lady, that the old lady had a grandchild who actually was meant to be a guardian, and she tried to protect him. It didn't work out. Rose and her are being, tailed by the Queen's first man or whatever he was. And we find out that the woman, or I guess it's the older woman's daughter who lost her son. I forget who she is, but she blames her for losing her child, and then you get Rose seeing her in her costume, and you really get to see the story starting to flesh out a lot more. And now Rose actually knows about Thorne now also, because she calls his name out. She feels him, and Thorne feels her too. I like how in the beginning he keeps referring to his guardian, or the person he's supposed to be bonded to or work with, as a team, a he. He gave me that book, actually. I'll put him over here today.
That would actually be a better
he.
idea.
And I think that Thorne's going to be surprised when he finds out that it's actually Rose and it's a girl. But I really think this story is very strong. I'm looking forward to the next issue. I'm really looking forward to Rose meeting up with the Queen. And the story itself is just very strong. If you've been missing out on it, you have only 3 issues to go back on. And I believe the first issue is the only one that's sold out, but there's a reprinting, a second printing. Get it. Really, really good. Meredith Finch has done an amazing job telling us a story that is her own, and it looks spectacular as well. Now, I missed issue 1 of this. I'll buy it physically this week from Midtown when I make our order for whatever we didn't get from
well, what he's talking
DCBS.
about, this is Tekken, issue number 2, which is
Little Nightmares, issue number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's in the back. But this isn't Little Nightmares, this is Tekken. So, from what we saw in the last issue, this actually talks about, I look at that statue that we got of Tekken 7, and this actually reminded me of Tekken 7 where, what were their names?
Hayachi.
Yeah, Hayachi and
Kazuya.
Yeah. So it talks about like their rivalry, and also Jin is in this book as well.
Jin is the younger brother.
Which is the younger brother, right? And he's like hearing like all these voices because he doesn't want to let out the inner self because he gets more violent. Like his inner self's like saying,
yeah, they have demon blood because their mother was a demon.
Right. So as he's like saying that, he doesn't want to release that. So I really love the artwork. The artwork's really amazing in this Tekken comic book. And it's just like all of them fighting. We get King who joins, and we have the Panda who joins as well. And it's just really the team, or Paul as well, trying to get Jin from like just all this. We even get his inner his inner self and stuff like that. And it's just like an all-around book. But we get lots of stuff that's going to be happening in the next issue because all the Jacks that came in the end, now we have I don't know
what her name is.
I can't remember what her name is either. But let's just say that yeah, it's these people. I've been like out of Tekken for like a long time to remember the names, but all in all, though, I really enjoyed the issue. Definitely something to check out.
And this is a connecting cover, so once I get the other one, it'll connect.
There you go.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 70. I loved it. The final. Here. Jeremy Renfro, what's going on, my brother? So, Turtles, go after Old Hob. Old Hob has some hostages. He wants Bishop and his group of mercenaries to give back Slash and his family. It was my phone.
Oh.
Give them back. I give you his father and the captain's wife back. What's up, Tevye? I knew at some point Tevye was.
I was like saying anytime now.
But anyway, yeah, Bishop controlling Slash, not willing to bend for the mutants. You have the captain of the mercenaries who basically just says, you know what, dude, you win. You know, it's your family. I want my family safe. We get the big reveal here. Bishop's a freaking robot.
Wow.
He is so cold that he actually lets his father die as well. I'm not going to say how. It was gruesome. And the Turtles actually leave a nice little threat. Hob gets his family back. The Turtles leave. Hob and his gang of mutanimals leave. Unfortunately, though, Slash kind of not in sound mind right now. So they're kind of he's kind of stuck there. But the Turtles and Old Hob are promising that they're going to go back for Slash. I like this. It's a nice 70th issue. I really don't see where they're building up to right now, though. It really doesn't feel like they're building up to really much. I feel like maybe to issue 80 and 90, you know, where right now we just hit 70, 80, 90, 100. There's 30 more issues, 30 more months, which is over 2 years before we get to the 100th issue. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'll be here for issue 100. Get enough work. Hopefully go back to doing the awesome, man. Awesome. So speaking of an issue, that was the 70th for TMNT Birthright issue number 25. Before we go on break, Mikey fighting Matisma, I believe her name was, if I'm correct here. Oh no, I'm sorry, Callista, who was basically Lore's left hand or right hand woman witch, and she's fighting Mikey. Mikey fights her. Matisma is Lore's daughter, one of the wizards that stayed on Earth to keep the gates closed between Tyrannos and Earth. Huge fight, great artwork. Oh my god, I gotta tell you guys, I love the artwork. Cover. And yes, it is actually a wrap cover for issue 25. Wrap cover, that's what's cool. And Callista is in the middle, like Mikey's kind of in the middle of this fight with Callista, and Matisma and Raya's giving birth, and the mother's there to help. We find out there's something up with the older brother. Mikey has a daughter, and then the mother. See, this is what I don't like. All of a sudden, like, even the father, you know, Brendan almost gets hurt, and now all of a sudden the entire family turns on him. The father's like, I thought I was so happy. And if you remember from the beginning of the series, the father was so happy. Oh, I'm so glad that you're back, Mikey. And then now he's like, you know what? I was blind. I was like, I got my son back. I was so happy, but I didn't realize it because they all witnessed him killing the last mage in front of, you know, he killed the last mage right in front of his entire family's eyes, including Raya and being pregnant. And now the family doesn't trust him. And they're like, well, what are you, you know, we don't know you anymore. And the mother's like, I will never let this baby in harm's way. The mother kind of annoys the hell out of me for the simple fact of, you know what?
I really like the mother.
No, because she was never around.
No, I understand why.
And then now that she knows what's going on, now she's going to put her 2 cents in with Mikey's baby. Now, I understand Mikey is in a questionable place right now because he killed a mage right in front of them. They all believe he's working for the evil king, and they want to know where he's at. And then the older brother gets taken away by Callista.
Wow.
So I don't know, but I'm really invested in seeing what's next in the chapter of Birthright. I believe we're going to have a couple months break. I'll know when I make our order for August, which I'm going to have to do this week because I just realized we're all the way at the end of the month, and I did not make our comic order yet. I got to get better at this. But anyway, I'm really enjoying Birthright. I think you guys would really enjoy it. If you haven't checked it out yet, there are single issues. There's trade paperbacks. Every 5 issues, they do a trade. I have the first 5 issues in trade because I didn't grab it at the beginning because I was stupid. And I read the first 5 issues digitally, and then I jumped into Birthright from issue 5 on. If I ever could get my hands on those first 5 issues, I'll probably end up giving away my trade. I would love to get the first 5 issues individually, but we'll see if that ever happens. I got Doom Patrol Volume 1, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps Volume 2. Now I need Shade. I liked Hal and Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. I'm not into the Young Animals. I kind of lost it. So anyway, then they're talking about Jeremy and Tevye talking about the podcast. I don't like the mother. Tevye saying he hates Mikey because he's a jerk. Mikey, I don't know if he's just lost in his own mind or his own heart, but I can't take the mother. And no, if you listen to Callista, she said Nevermind really has no control over Mikey. It's Mikey's deepest, darkest desires, and his deepest, darkest desire was to come home and to see and be with his family again. So I don't know if it controls him as much as it just shows his deepest desires. So we have two. I didn't put it in this list, and it's not going to be worth even talking about. Gen X issue number 3. I'm done. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to hold on to this as much as I could. The artwork just, I mean, if the artwork on the cover, which is by I believe it's by Terry Dotson, if I'm not mistaken, the art in the cover, I don't think it says that. But I just don't like the artwork inside the book, and I think I'm the only one on Frontline that truly stuck with it as long as I did. The first story arc was okay. I started reading this. I got halfway through the book, and I just said, you know what? The artwork is just, I have faces in front of my face. Things are distorted. We got a little bit more on that character, the new mutant that could touch people and see their entire past and whatnot. Nothing in this book is gripping me. Nothing in this book is really grabbing me and saying, hey, I want to keep this book. As a matter of fact, after rereading Cable, there's more in Cable that makes me want to come back and read issue 2 than there is an Generation X issue 3 to make me come back and read issue 3. So you know what happens when a book... Do you know what happens when a book that was actually excused from the list because another book was put on there the same week wrongfully, because now I'm going to go back to that book? Do you know what happens? First of all, Cable's not on the list. Cable, you're lucky. You're back on the we'll check you out. You know what happens when a book slides under the list's radar and puts another book in its place? Do you know what happens?
What happens, Chris?
Do you know what happens?
What happens?
Gen X. You just made the list!
You forgot to click and...
I don't have a pen. I already put it on the list.
Shame on
pre-show.
You. Shame.
Hey, it is almost 1:30 in the morning.
Click that makes it dramatic. How could you not be dramatic? Go and click.
In a second, you're going to make the list.
I've already made the list tons and tons of times.
You can make it another ton.
Good. Then I'll make it another ton.
Just shut your mouth. Generation X. Also, another book that I'm not really jumping into. It's not on the list. In the description below. It's not in the list of books that we're discussing. It's Secret Empire Uprise. I'm done. Done. This book is going to be done once we are Secret Warriors. This book is going to be done. Once Secret Empire is done, it's going to be done. And the story is just, it's, again, like I say, with any event that Marvel does, whenever they do events, Marvel loves to, I'm just going to cut it that way. Marvel loves to make 1,000,001 tie-ins, 1,000,001 minis connected to it, and Secret Warriors is going to be one of those minis that's connected to Secret Empire, which we'll talk about Secret Empire, by the way. We will talk about that. Again, if you're enjoying Secret Empire, if you're reading Steve Rogers, if you're reading Avengers, if you're reading any of the books that kind of cross into Secret Empire, stick with those. You don't need the miniseries. Wait around, get the trades. The trades will go down in price as well later on down the road. I for a fact know that a lot of the events that Marvel did not 2 years ago, their trades are on sale half off on Amazon half the time. So wait for a steep sale. Or if you're really into the characters that are in the minis, whatever the mini may be, get that. If not, just let it go. It's all stuff that's happening in the background that you'll probably end up seeing in the actual event book if it's that important to the story. So, and there was also Secret Empire Uprise. I totally took a hot pass on that one completely. I'm waiting for Secret Empire and Legacy to be done. If Marvel keeps their word, we'll know exactly, Jeremy. Once Legacy's done, we will know. Not Legacy. You're talking about Generation Generations, which is they're claiming is coming out of Secret Empire. So anyway, and I don't know how you find that, Tevye, because Secret Empire is pretty important right now. It's pretty important. Weapon X, issue number 4. Continuing with the scientists, we get the big reveal, though, at the end of this book. And I'm not going to spoil who, but we find out who's behind stealing all of the Weapon X, the ex-Weapon X agents' DNA, including the Hulks, which they actually get more of in this book. So the vendetta against, now the whole point of this team up with the Hulk, Sabretooth, Old Man Logan, and Domino was to go save Warpath and Lady Deathstrike, which they do. They find the base. They find their hidden base, and they attack. The whole book is about them fighting their way through and saving Lady Deathstrike and Warpath. And then they get 2 of the scientists, and they're like, they want to know who's behind this whole thing. We get to see the Hulk get really pissed off in this book as well. And right before the scientists are able to speak, they do mention it's a he. The entire base is blown up. And now all it is basically, it looks like an oil refinery that had a wildfire set to it. So nobody knows who the leader of this group is, but now I love how they all get together in the end and they're like, you know what? This person really attacked the hell out of us. We're going to keep going, and we're going to keep this team going, and we're going to find this person and attack them. We're gonna keep doing this. We're not done yet with these people. And I like that. I like that a lot. The next book in this crossover is going to be the Alpha one-shot. And now, see, this whole series so far, including the last Hulk book, which I did get the trade of all of this put together, and I believe the one-shot that's coming out, the Alpha, is also going to be in this trade. I like it. Weapon X is definitely going to be a good thing to buy in trade. So if we see a trade for Weapon X, that's staying with trade. So at least we got that. Everything else is individual. Gen X we're not getting. Cable we're not getting. And we hope that Iceman ends up in the Cancerverse. But anyway, now when I say the Cancerverse, look it up. It's a Marvel universe. It isn't what the name of the verse is. But anyway, as far as Weapon X, it's going to read greatest trade. If you haven't read single issues, wait for the trades. Might be better. So this was all a prelude. Next, we find out why all this DNA was taken. We saw them stealing the DNA, trying to steal the people, but now what are they trying to make? And what is this guy? And we'll talk about this obviously in the Alpha, because this person will be the main focal point. But I'm not going to spoil who it was. You guys definitely got to read it. Secret Empire is not pointless. The only event since Secret Wars that was properly built up and hype was, yeah, it's true. They built this up for about a year. It's true. Now, I'm only throwing this in there because it has a lot to do with the last book in this review, and that's Suicide Squad issue number 19. And this is Zod's point of view during the Superman story arc right now that's going on, which is Revenge. In this issue, we see Cyborg, Superman, and Eradicator trying to defect Zod over to their side. Zod wants to use the Black Gate to bring his Kryptonian army through. Captain Flag decides to sacrifice himself and destroy it, saving the world from the Kryptonian army. However, now that Zod lost the connection to the Phantom Zone, that's his goal. And Cyborg Superman says, listen, come with us. We'll remake Krypton. We'll save all your army that's in the Phantom Zone. Just join us and help us get revenge on Superman. And you see them fly off in the end. Now, Superman is directly connected to this. Again, did you need this issue in issue 18? No. They're nice add-ons. If you want to see Zod's side of the story, you definitely can get these 2 issues. I feel like these last 2 issues would probably be connected to a Superman trade before they get their own Suicide Squad trade, unless they do a specific Zod trade. But yeah, I think these 2 books kind of go nice hand in hand with action. Do I have them physically, though? No. Digital is good enough for me. Great artwork, really interesting story, and it plays out really awesome in Action Comics. Superman's on point, ready for the war of jokes and riddles. Are you talking about, that's in Batman. and prelude to Dark. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Dark Forge. So New Superman issue number 12. So we find out that Keenan wasn't the first one. We find out there was a Superman Zero, a Project Superman Zero, and he was there to fight the giant turtle Farah. But we find out that the Wonder Woman of China actually is part of a fable story that's told that was told to the children in China about the white and green snake who always wanted to be humans, and they traveled into our realm, and an older sorcerer who was in love with the girls or infatuated with the snakes followed after, and ever since then was trying to pull them back to their world. And we find out that Wonder Woman the Wonder Woman of China was the green snake. And after this big fight that happens, she loses her human form and becomes the snake again, and the turtle ends up, I don't know. It's kind of a big question mark on what happens with the turtle. But now it's up to Keenan to retrieve the other Superman. And what happens is the other Superman just doesn't want to be bothered. He wants to be left alone. You know? And then you got this other guy whose real face is being hidden that we know is working with Keenan's teacher. And he goes to this other Superman and tries to convince him that he needs to fight against these superheroes in China. And he shows up. And Dr. Omen, now see, Batman of China shows Superman, Keenan, that the father's still alive, but he's in LexCorp. So he goes to Dr. Omen, and he's like, did you kill my mother? Why is my father in Lex's lab? And I love the ending, because the ending was the best. Because he's like, I didn't kill your mother, you numbskull. I am your mother. And you get that realization. That was hilarious. I can't wait to see the next issue. I got a Star Wars feel, that's for sure. But now, will Keenan lose his mother, or will he be able to save her?
That's the question.
All I do know is that this Superman Zero, Project Zero, is trying to destroy Dr. Omen's operation of having a Justice League of China. Superman, oh, okay, that's the same one again. But I liked it. I thought it was a really good issue. New Superman definitely, you know, as I said before, maybe this would read better in trade for me. Maybe I should get it in trade. Right now, I don't know what issue I stopped reading physically and I started getting digitally. I'd have to go back into my listing to see. I would pick this book up in trade. Single issue-wise, I don't know. It has a very strong story to it, though. It really, really does. But at the same time, there are points in this book where I fall out and then I go back into it because I'm interested. So this is one of those books that I would say I like it. I truly do. And if they ever made like a compendium for it, I would probably buy that. But as far as buying individual issues, it doesn't hold me every single issue. Maybe in trade it would, because there's more good than not. So maybe in trade it would hold me better. Waiting for the first volume of New Superman trade to come out. Yeah, I think I have the first volume. I think it starts with volume 2. That's why I got to see. But anyway, New Superman, really good.
Deadpool, issue number 32. We have Deadpool in his Hail Hydra costume.
That's right. Deadpool is now crossing over with Secret Empire, right?
Right. And in this issue, just long story short, he has a mission by Hydra to go after, I think Speedy Cannon, his name is. The one that does telepathic powers.
Okay.
So he's doing that. And we also get a little bit of his daughter's story, Eliza, who goes to this school, and she's really having lots of trouble in school, like, you know, with all the fights and whatnot, and doesn't really like going there and stuff like that. So we get a little bit of that story. So he goes after Speedy Cannon. I'm guessing that's his name. And then he hunts him down. At first, you know, Speedy Cannon gets him telepathically with, you know, punching himself and everything. But with gas, he gets him out. And I like how he says, so is it Fail Hydra, Nail Hydra? Yeah, Nail Hydra instead of Hail Hydra. I thought, you know, Deadpool just has that. And they get mad. I'm like, oh, what? That's not what you're supposed to say. And then in the end, when he brings it there, he goes, Hail Hydra, because he gets a text message from the school that his daughter got into another fist fight. So he's going to go to the school, and the next cover shows him at the school with the principal, and then just her just waiting outside. So I don't know how the next issue is going to be, but it's going to be pretty interesting to see Deadpool in the school. That's really something. Really good issue, actually, for once.
Okay, Ben Riley, the Scarlet Spider, issue number 3. Now, basically, Ben made a deal with the devil. Says he could save. I forgot what the woman's name was. Does it say here? Cassandra Mercury's daughter. So, in trade-off, well, first of all, he finds out Kane's going after him. In trade-off, though, he gets this tracking device put in his neck, and the woman says, "Oh, it'll also blow your head off if you happen to try to get too far away." And at first, she's praying that he doesn't figure out that part is a bluff. He figures out it's a bluff, but he's not too sure. He sees the girl that owes him $50. That kind of threw me off, though. Again, with the girl with the $50. So, do you have my $50 yet? And then we get to see this trio of Spider-Men who pop into the casino looking for trouble, not looking to cause trouble, looking if there's trouble. And I love how Cassandra's like, just kill two of them and find out who sent the other one. And it turns out that they're really like one of those group of people who idolize Spider-Man so much that they do their own little patrol where they go around and make sure that there's no small crimes that are going on and things that they could avert, crimes that they could avert and whatnot. Kane shows up and saves them. They kind of make fun of his costume because they think he's one of them at first. And they're like, dude, first of all, your costume is a spider side. And I love how they kind of, in the book, make fun of the costume the way we were. They're like, dude, I can see your mouth. Costume looks lame. That's kind of like what's spider side? You're wearing a spider side costume. You're not even wearing the legit Scarlet Spider costume. He's like, okay, give me yours. And he's like, but it's mine. And he's like, now. So basically, Ben gets his original costume back by taking it from this kid who's trying to make fun of the fact that he's wearing the wrong costume. I thought it was funny, but again, I really don't. It's very weak. It's definitely a very weak book right now, and I'm truly, truly, truly hoping that it picks up. Here you go. This is the Mary Jane variant for Venom 151. So the priest somehow survived.
For Mary Jane.
The priest somehow survives. Venom finds out that there's this monster in the sewers, so he goes after the monster. We find out that the monster is somehow connected to Alchemax. So he goes to Liz Allen with the monster in hand, and basically he brings it to her, and he's like, I need you to do me a favor. I need help, because he's questioning, because he doesn't trust the symbiote, and then the symbiote knows that he teamed up with Spider-Man in order to trap the symbiote. So the symbiote doesn't trust Brock. So there's like a very big mistrust going on between the two of them. So he wants to know what's wrong with the symbiote. So Liz Allen said she'll help him figure out what's going on with the symbiote, but he has to go find Stregon, who is the one that screwed around with these Alchemax people, and bring Stregon back to her. And, well, as always, at the end of an issue, things kind of go awry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be interested in seeing what happens next. And continuing with the Venom, symbiote, man, I tell you, this week is the week of Venom.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
We got Renew Your Vows. So we all know that the Liz Allen in Renew Your Vows has a vendetta against the Spider family because she's worried that her son is getting obsessed just like Norman, just like Harry. So you see the beginning where Mary Jane's kind of tapping too much into Pete's powers to the point where he kind of almost blacks out. And she's afraid of using the Regent suit. You got Normie who's planning his stuff. And then Liz Allen purposely makes this infomercial to kind of get Spider-Woman or Spinneret to go to her. Come to me and I have like this suit that'll help bring out your true potential. And we all saw it coming. It's the Venom symbiote. But of course, Mary Jane doesn't know that yet. And Peter's not even there, so Peter has no clue. She goes off on her own to do some spider duties, falls asleep, nightmare, kind of reminiscent of the nightmare that Pete had when he had the suit the first time, where he kind of lost himself. Mm-hmm. And then we see that looks like the suit basically takes control of Mary Jane completely, and now she's kind of taken over by the suit. To be continued. Marvel likes to ship Logan X Gene. I didn't know that we were up to X-Men yet, but we are about to hit X-Men. Well, sort of. We're about to hit Old Man Logan first, then X-Men, but really good. I'm enjoying Renew Your Vows. I'm sure Tevye is really happy about that. But at the same time, we'll have to see where this symbiote thing goes. Oh, boy. I'm the only one that has Marvel this week, aren't I?
Well, yeah. Pretty much.
See, and Michael was worried he was going to do a lot of the talking. Old Man Logan, issue 25, Days of Anger, part 1.
I was saying it was a lot of books.
So Logan, it opens up with an older man who we all know is Bruce Banner from the Maestro universe. He's Maestro, basically, talking with these kids about, and I guess they're all he's been grabbing kids from the multiverse that have Hulk abilities or Gamma abilities. So Logan's in this coffee shop, and guess who he gets attacked by? His old friends from the Hulk gang.
Oh, no.
And he's like, but I killed these guys before. What are they doing here and now? So, again, it becomes this big fight. And one of them that he spared, he wants to know what his name is Billy Bob. He asks Billy Bob what the hell they're doing there, what's going on. And, all the other Hulks die. Billy kind of runs off because Logan gets knocked out. He tells Maestro, because what they were supposed to do is they were supposed to keep this secret. Enter the Edge Network, what's going on, my friend? And what happens is, because of their personal vendetta against Old Man Logan, and now Logan knows that the Hulk gang is out there and there's more because he could smell it. This is part of Logan's power. Maestro gets pissed off because not only did they lose 4 of the members of the Hulk gang, but they didn't get the trucks, and now the people are going to be on to them. And Maestro almost kills Billy Bob, but his sister kind of pops in to, say, listen, he didn't know, he didn't go, it was the others, because it's true. And now you got Logan, who's basically tracking Maestro and his Hulks. This is going to be very, very, very interesting, if I do say so myself.
Yep.
So, speaking of Hulk, though, let's talk about Hulk issue number 7. We have a new artist on this book, I believe, because the artwork has definitely changed, and I like it a bit more. I feel like the artist here kind of knows the difference between Jen, whom we see here, this is Jen, and her She-Hulk alter ego, because as you can see, she looks different. So we find out that She-Hulk is in fact gray with the scars that are like shining green. And, she was in a group before where they're talking about, it's like one of those self-help groups. Doesn't work out so good for her. So then she goes to this abandoned place she knows about and basically just breaks the hell out of things for a bit. And we find out that she doesn't exactly have her voice anymore. She kind of is like a Hulk. And I like how Hellcat shows up and they have this long conversation. And in this conversation, she's like, I dig the new gray look. So what are you? She-Hulk, Hulk? She's like, I'm a Hulk now. I'm Hulk. I'm the last Hulk. But it feels different now. Something's different about being a Hulk. And she can't explain why. And then in the background, we see all this stuff. Now, we all know that she's into that cooking show. That's what's keeping her calm and zen. Well, it turns out that some crap is going on behind the scenes with this show now. And one of the cameramen want to kind of spice up the show to get the ratings up because he feels like the ratings could be even better. So he puts these drugs in this cake, and they're called monster drugs. And what happens is, well, when the chef tastes his cake that he made with these drugs in it now, he kind of mutates out. So it looks like Jen is going to have to get hulked up and get into Save the Day. Interesting. Definitely the art brought me back, and so did the story. The story looks interesting. Okay. So, X-Men Blue issue number 5, or I like to call it the issue that Tevye spoiled for me before I read it. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine, Tevye. Like I said, spoilers don't ruin anything for me until I actually read the book myself. So, the X-Men and Jimmy end up fighting this team of Ultimate X-Men who are displaced. We find out that certain X-Men or mutants from the multiverse have been misplaced, especially from the Ultimate Universe because it's been destroyed. And how we find this out is through a conversation that Jean has with Miss Sinister, who shows the Ultimate Universe. We get, Miles from the Ultimate Universe, the X-Men from the multiverse. We see that she, when she caught the mutants and kind of brainwashed them to work for her, except for Jimmy. Also, the fact that they can't remember anything, their memory is lost, is not because of Miss Sinister. It's a side effect of the universe hopping. So we get a bunch of fighting between the X-Men and the Ultimate Mutants. And what happens is Miss Sinister is kind of intrigued by Jean and by the X-Men team, that she's like, you know what? Jimmy's a bit more problem than he's worth. So she basically just tells the team to leave him alone. And they end up leaving, and Jimmy ends up staying with the X-Men. And he joins the team, but he doesn't want to be called Wolverine. So now he's a part of it. And Jean finds this medallion that was, I believe, left for her by Miss Sinister or her team. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next. Obviously, Jimmy's going to become a part of this X-Men team. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Thought about getting Blue Beetle, but review on Amazon were too... Yeah, Blue Beetle didn't really... I think Mike dropped it as well.
I did.
Continuing, the final X book that I have is all new Wolverine issue number 21. So Laura can cure everybody using her healing factor. So her and Gabby decide, okay, all the people have to do is touch me. But what happens is people start to freak out. So they kind of mass, you know, they jump on top of her, and she kind of gets it a little bit harder because so many people touch her at once. So she kind of gets overcome with the virus for a moment. But that's when, and I'm so happy that we got to see Dawkins again, but that's when Old Man Logan, Dawkins, and Deadpool show up, who also all three have healing factors. Dawkins, we find out his healing factor. Remember, we were wondering if his healing factor came back? It's slowly coming back. He can heal at a slower rate, but now they're there to help Wolverine and Gabby kind of cure the island. However, there's a group of people who are fighting back. I love the splash page. So you get a little bit of action in the book, and then the rest of the time it's them curing everybody. And one by one, they kind of get taken down. You got, I believe the first one to go down was Gabby, then Dawkins, then Deadpool, then Logan, and X-23 kind of pushes herself to the point of, well, I don't know, but she kind of pushes herself to death. Will Wolverine survive? Will Laura survive? That's the question. We'll find that out in the next issue, I guess. This is a very interesting book, but mostly just her healing people and fighting against this group of people that snuck onto the island and were already infected. And Gabby got to see a few people who died from the infection, and that was kind of heartbreaking also. And I love how Dawkins like, leave them, let this be. And, you know, Logan's like, we got other people who are alive that we can still save. So I like that. Issue number 1, The Defenders. This was a book I bought on a whim. I truly, you know, I'm reading Iron Fist. You're reading Luke Cage. Neither of us is reading Daredevil. I did glimpse into Daredevil, and I like where that book's going, but I glimpsed into it only. So here we are with Defenders issue number 1. So, somehow, as you guys read from the solicits, I'm sure, Diamondback is back. And he's targeting Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. Ironically, the group that's going to be in the Defenders next month or the month after on the Netflix Defender series. And Luke gets blown up. Daredevil gets attacked. And I love how when everybody kind of jumps in, they give you like a background on the character. But Jessica's in the hospital. What's his name? Why did Iron Fist's name leave my mind?
Right?
Danny comes in also from being attacked. So everybody was attacked. The Heroes for Hire building was destroyed. Jessica you get a backstory with Jessica when she wakes up. So now all 4 of them are being targeted by Diamondback. And we got to see Diamondback at the beginning for a bit. What's up, Slime? And I never read Diamondback. And after reading this issue, I hate this dude's guts, and I hope he gets his ass handed to him 20-fold. But anyway, Diamondback goes to Black Cat for help and also to let her know that he's back, and basically he is going to run everything, whether she likes it or not. He's going to be top dog again. And Luke Cage, see, the whole group goes looking for him, but Luke Cage finds him. And what happens is Diamondback's prepared for Luke Cage, and it doesn't look like Luke Cage is faring too well against Diamondback. So I'm going to really look forward to when the Defenders get Diamondback and put his ass through a wall. Because I hate the character. He was written so good. He was written so good because he's supposed to be written to be hated. I hated him. I love Defenders issue number 1. I will be continuing my physical single issue buying of Defenders. Really good book. You should read it as well. I think you'd enjoy it as well. Now we get into the big honcho, the big book here, the big, thick, heavy book, and that is Secret Empire issue number 4. And yes, Punisher is working with Steve Rogers because we see it here. Punisher's finding all the sleeper agents that are around in the area that are daring to defy Hydra, so to speak. But before that, I always forget these stupid things in these books, and it drives me nuts because as I'm going through the book, it's like this humongous big middle thing that ruins the book. There we go. So we also get a little bit more of Steve, wherever Steve Rogers is in this different alternate universe, and it looks like, see, I'm confused if that's Bucky and Falcon or if it's Spike and Falcon. Might be Spike and Falcon. I'm not too sure, but they end up showing up. And Steve doesn't remember them either, but they end up saying, you know, it's better to go as a group. It's better to be, you know, friends. So for some reason, Steve and them, you know, kind of decide, yeah, we're going to go this together. I didn't like how the book ended out of nowhere. I'm guessing you mean, do you mean Defenders or Secret Empire? Let me know, Slime. But we jump back in. We got Black Widow interrogating a Hydra agent. We've got the Avengers and Cap's Hydra team going after Ultron, who has a piece of the Infinity Gem. We find out that Wanda, Scarlet Witch, is being mind controlled. We find out that Vision has a AI virus in him that kind of gets kind of has Steve controlling him. Thor just wants his hammer back, and he believes he's fighting with the right side. And then you get, of course, that Steve Rogers versus Iron Man moment because they both end up on Ultron's island at the same time. And Ultron captures them all. And as Hank Pym has this big Avengers dinner where he's kind of hashing out how, you know, there was the Secret War, there was the Civil War, you know, there was always one side. You know, Wanda did one thing with No More Mutants and House of M. You had Steve, who's doing this now with Secret Empire. You had Tony with the Registration Act. And he's like, basically, you guys have always tried to do what's best for the universe, and then that was for Defenders. Got you, Slime. And now it's like, you know, you guys always think you're doing the right thing, but you're wrong. And he's like, what about me? I was a founding member. Do I ever get a say? And Tony kind of laughs because he's like, wow, Ultron, if you're really trying to be Hank Pym, this is hilarious because you're basically just whining like Hank would. But you know what? Hank killed Jan. And ever since then, that's why we didn't do dinners like this anymore, because it was awkward being around you. But then I love how the other Ant-Man, the Scott Lang Ant-Man, kind of reaches out to him and says, listen, Hank, I'm on your side, man. I know you did wrong, but, you know, I always looked up to you. You know, you're the one that gave me the Ant-Man suit to follow after you quit. So in the end, he ends up giving the Avengers his piece of the Cosmic Cube. And Steve is pissed, but he's like, I'm keeping things interesting. But what happens is Namor ends up giving Steve his Infinity Gem. So now Steve has one. The Avengers have the other. They're ready to quit, honestly, but they decide to push on. But we also find out, and this is the biggest spoiler here, somebody on this page is a traitor. Somebody in the Avengers is a traitor. Somebody is still working for Steve, and I'm wondering if it's Falcon. I'm very curious if it's Falcon. Honorable mention, Legion of the Superheroes, Bugs Bunny, issue number 1. I loved it. It was nice. You get to see Super Rabbit again, and he's there to save Superwoman. He fights against the, I forgot who it was, but, oh God, why did their name leave me? Their names left me. Validus attacks, and We got Super Rabbit who shows up to save the day. And I love how at the end of the book, we get a, after Supergirl saved, we get a kind of like a really quick version. But the way the first story goes, it's done in the Legion of Superheroes kind of artwork. So we get the regular comic art with Bugs Bunny in it, which I really liked having Bugs Bunny. It was funny. But then if you go to the back of the book, the second story is done in more of the Bugs Bunny cartoon kind of artwork. But it's basically the same story again, where a little different here and there, but it's a more cartoony version of the story we just read, and it's obviously a lot shorter. I thought it was cool. I love these crossovers. They're going to get honorable mentions across the board. Actually, Michael got one this week. Next week, we have another two. Depends which one. I think Mike's going to probably end up getting Lobo and Lobo and Coyote.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember which ones. I believe there's 4 more.
There was Yosemite Sam with All-Star Western.
Right, I think that's yours.
That's mine.
The Coyote is yours because it has Lobo. And then there's Elmer Fudd and Batman.
That's the one you want.
That's mine, right.
And then there was, I think, another one.
Oh, Wonder Woman and Tasmanian Devil.
But that one's definitely you.
Yeah.
So we got Marvin, Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter and Marvin the Martian.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter and Marvin the Martian.
Game with Marvin.
He's a Martian.
But anyway, so in this story, it just talks about Martian Manhunter who meets up with Marvin the Martian, who gets transferred from his universe on Mars to Earth to actually tell Martian Manhunter that he wants to take over the Earth. Because he was like saying, the reason why I want to take over the Earth is because what humans have done to me, they don't respect me and everything, therefore I want to just destroy the universe. So he's trying to get Martian Manhunter to say that, that people are going to turn on you, so, you're going to feel the same way and everything. And little by little, it gets to him. But then, he doesn't want Marvin to destroy the Earth. So there's like all these robots that Martian Manhunter fights. And we got Marvin's backstory. I really like the backstory they did of Marvin. And he's just saying that, even though he won't know the true answer about, with the people of Earth, he wants to try and build a new one. And then we get, like you said, a little short of the cartoony version of what we just read. But in Marvin the Manhunter,
Marvin and the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. Martian and Marvin Manhunter.
Marcia, stop it! It's John Jones and Marvin.
Yeah. And then they get like a little bit
Marcia.
And then we get like Marvin who gets a delivery.
It's the same story again in cartoon form, no?
Yeah, but no, it's actually him bringing something good to the Earth because the people of Earth gave Marvin a gift. So he's like saying like, people are so touching and everything, so I need to protect Earth now, and I love Earth, this and that. So it was like a little bit different.
And I just noticed something. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, who are waiting for the Catwoman Strike Raid Union. What's up, Strike Raid Union? Newbie, new commenter. Great to have you on here. The Batman War of Jokes and Riddles is 8 parts. There's 2 issues a month that come out. So that means if it's starting this month, which is the end of June, July, August, September, October, the beginning of October is when this is going to end. And then we have the beginning of, we get the answer to Catwoman finally. Marvin Martian. Marvin the Man, wow, man, I think you wrote it the same way. Martian the oh, I get it. Martin the Martian.
It's
Marcia.
It's like 1:40 in the morning. Give me a break. Justice League of America.
How much of a break do you want?
8. A big one from you, that's for sure. So yeah, so Justice League of America. This is the.
We just got a new viewer, Strike Raid Union, and you're gonna look silly in front of him now.
No, that would be you. So this is a story arc called "The Man from Monster Valley," and it gives what's his name? Maxon. You ever heard of this guy?
Is
Maxon.
that an X or a K? That looks like Maxon.
Yeah, Maxon.
Oh.
Well, basically, it talks about, his story where he's half man, half monster, where the Justice League of America in the beginning saved him from the people who were going after him, and they want to help him out and get a little bit of backstory. And we do, in the future, get a little bit of that when he's doing a talk show and everything. And it was just really dialogue heavy, where all that. But basically, it's just saying, that how people aren't scared of him because of, what he is. But
I've been following Comic Frontline for a while. Comic Frontline is part of. Oh, sweet, man. Okay, I didn't know. This is the first time you're on the Dark Avenger comic book review show, from my knowledge. Maybe you were on, and it's been a while, so I apologize for that. Part of the inspiration for our channel. I'm glad that we inspired your channel, man. I hope that you're doing great work, guys. If you are watching and you are not subscribed to Strike Raid Union, definitely go check them out. And if you like their stuff, click that sub button.
Yeah, so some of the team are a little bit not trusting Maxon, but then Batman's trying to say, he's just adjusting. I'll just give him a little time. And there's all these investigations that they're doing with finding more answers about Maxon and his story. And what he wants is revenge. So basically, he wants to kill our against him and stuff like that. And that's to be continued in the next issue. So this Maxon guy could be either a good guy or a bad guy to the Justice League of America. So that's something I'll be looking forward into.
Oh, man, I'm just checking out
reading.
Strike Raid Union. Looks like some nice stuff. Comic Frontline is now subscribed to you guys. That's awesome. Tevia's already subscribed to them. Tevia's subscribed to everybody we go to. It's kind of funny. So,
yep.
Sorry, just random moment in my life.
Yeah. So that's it for that.
So, Wonder Woman 24, the second to last physical book I will be getting, and the second to last book Greg Rucka will actually be writing. And this is the fallout from Godwatch. So, Wonder Woman and Dr. Kill merge from the tree. Happy ending for Wonder Woman and Steve, of course. Dr. Kill is upset because she lost her daughter. Fair enough. And then we got Cheetah, who's hiding out. She wants, she's like, I found you, let me in. And she doesn't get in, so she gets pissed off. She's like, now I'm going to make the world, I'm going to be, Amazon and God alike will know the new God's wrath, and that's going to be mine. You guys are great. Oh, man, thank you we're glad that we were here for you guys. We're glad we inspired you guys, and you guys are doing, it looks like, I can't speak, I haven't watched any of your videos yet, but you guys look like you're doing a bang-up job. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and I promise you guys, you're gonna, as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, clear sailing, man, clear sailing. And like I told everybody here, if you haven't checked out their channel, go check out their channel. I haven't read gotcha, go for it, man. If you want to pop back in a little while, we'll be doing other books. If not, come back afterwards, check out Post Live, leave a comment. Love to hear from you guys. So take care, man. Hopefully you got a couple of subs from this. And if you're watching this on my channel, you can go over to Comic Frontline, watch the live version of this video, the post-live version of this video, and I'm sure that Strike Union, Raid Union will be commenting again. You can follow them that way. So they go see Etta. Etta is talking about how upset they are that they lost, what do you call it, Barbara Ann. Wonder Woman wants to find her to cure her. Dr. Kale can cure her, but she's kind of pushing everybody out, especially Dr. Cyber. She gets attacked by Cheetah. Wonder Woman comes in for the save. Cheetah wants to kill her so that she can turn her back into a normal person, and basically gets knocked out the end. And I love how Wonder Woman, and in present day, we got Kyle Walker now. We got Prince. We got royalty in here. So what's up, Mr. Kyle Walker? Hopefully you're doing great tonight. So in the end, though, it looks like Dr. Kill is just a miserable person in and of herself. And Wonder Woman says, you'll always end up alone. So that ends the present day confrontation with Dr. Kill and Wonder Woman. So the next issue, which is issue number 25, will be the grand finale that will bridge the gap between this story arc and the last and the previous the prequel story arc. How you just missed Strike. He ended up leaving because we were talking about Wonder Woman. He hadn't read it yet. So Batman Detective Comics, Azrael finally finds out about the suit. Now, if you guys remember, when Azrael kind of quit the guild and started working with Batman, they ended up activating this robotic suit. You got Batman looking for a specific person for help in the magical realm, which we get teased throughout the entire book that she's at Penguin's, what do you call it? What's it called? The Iceberg Lounge. And he has to actually go and gamble a bit to see her show because she's giving a private show to the gamblers. We got Cass and Cassandra and Clayface kind of working on her talking. They're working out a play or whatnot. This dude that shows up in the beginning of the book that knows Azrael shows up, and he's half dead. And he's the one that warns Azrael about the new machine and why they picked it. Because you know what? They felt that all of them should die and be part of the spirit world, and that's like the ultimate faith, is to be part of the faith. So this robot is actually looking for everyone that was part of the I don't know, religion or group, and he's killing them. And Azrael's on the list, and so is this other person that's actually at the iceberg, ironically, right next to Bruce Wayne. That knows he's gonna die. I love how there's like the bat signal in his watch and whatnot. The guy attacks, and then we get to see who Batman was there to see. His old friend Zatanna. To be continued. Oh man, it's gonna be very interesting to see where this goes. But I like Azrael's character. I really like how they're doing him in Rebirth. Maybe he was the same pre-New 52, pre-Rebirth. I wasn't part of the Batman U pre-New 52. New 52 was my perfect jumping in point. And now it's like I have a lot of background because as I was reading New 52, I was buying older issues. Like I got Death in the Family. I've always wanted to read that. Loved it. I got the beginning of Tim's, run as Robin, like his first appearance and his first appearance as Robin, etc. And then I got a couple other back issues of Batman here and there and everywhere. And I got deep into the mythology later on instead. And now it's like I didn't really read too much with Azrael. So it's nice to see this version and kind of get a kind of introduction to him. Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, issue number 22. So in this book, sum it up real quick. Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns go up against this pirating smuggler gang. They go in there. It's a huge fight. They end up destroying the space pirates and bringing back the leader of the prison of the pirates. Wants to talk with the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. We see that something's going on with Tomar too. And I think this plays into what the pirate wants to say. We have Kyle, who wants to be back with Saranic, but he knows about Sarko. So he decides, hey, look, you should join the Green Lanterns again. You shouldn't be a Yellow Lantern anymore. So I knew this whole Sarko story arc was going to throw a monkey wrench in between him and Saranic. I don't know how that's going to finish up. But then we find out that the leader of the pirates, this whole book was about that fight. But the leader's like, dude, you're going to let me go, and I'm going to tell you why you're going to let me go. Because one of your Green Lanterns killed a Sinestro Corps member. And I have a feeling it's Tomar too, who ended up killing the Romaru. Because ever since that moment, where we saw that little panel where it showed a dead body and then Tomar 2, or maybe he is Romaru and he killed Tomar 2. We don't know. But either way, when we saw that panel, we knew something was up, and I have a feeling it has to do with that confrontation.
All right, Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 11. Story arc continuing of Who is Artemis? And we're still on the journey of finding the Bow of Ra. And the Bow of Ra was obtained by Akala, or however you say her name. Like, we know in the story that she possesses it, but both Artemis and Red Hood don't know that. So they're basically fighting against the people who are causing some trouble in the village. And then we get some Bow of Ra action. And then Artemis actually finding out. Love the artwork in this story. And so yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention in Wonder Woman, by the way, she loses her lasso. I want to mention that. Love the stream as usual. Later. All right, man. Take care, Into the Edge Network. It's always great having you pop in for a while.
So we have Bizarro who comes in to try to settle all this. And we get a nice fight scene where actually Artemis gets
You're bending the pages doing it this way, you know.
Oh, well, it's not me. So Artemis obtains the Bow of Ra and uses it against Alkali. And Bizarro actually takes her to a resting place. But here's where the story gets twisted. Bizarro's heart stopped beating and, well, he's dead.
I don't believe that.
I don't know. It kind of looked legit right there.
I don't believe that.
Find out in the next issue what happens. But man down. Oh, boy.
All right, we don't have that many books left. I told you guys this was going to be long. We're already over. We started at 12:30, right?
I believe so.
It's already almost 2 o'clock. Man, we are going, man. Wow, late. Yeah, Eagle, you have no idea how many books we just went through, and we still have 5 books, including this one, to go.
Let's just go.
Oh, Titans, issue number 12. This was a hefty week, guys. This was super hefty. Omen versus, oh, God. Fizman, because she wants to know where Bumblebee's memories are. So I like how Prism kind of goes into her mind, and we see what's been going on with the team the past while, and we see that Artemis and Omen are getting close. Not Artemis, Aqualad, basically. I forget what it is. Garth and Lilith are getting close. We see that Wally kind of gets shot down by Linda. Linda doesn't want him around anymore because he's kind of creeping her out because he's always calling her and whatnot. So she kind of dumps him as a friend too. And we find out that him and Wonder Girl actually have something going on. Donna have something going on now. And what really hurts is Roy, who finally was going to admit to Wonder Girl that he liked her. Well, too slow, as he says. And then we have a little bit of Dick with Bumblebee, and she still doesn't have her memory. So I love how he's like, you do know, Omen, you're an Omen, all right, for something bad. There's a traitor in the Titans, and the Titans will be destroyed by this traitor. I think I know who the traitor is. I'm not going to say who, though. I'm not going to say who, though. I have my feelings, though. But we find out that Omen was basically playing Fism so she could find out where Bumblebee's memories are. She finds out. She basically jukes him and tells him, dude, I got you. I let you go into my mind so I could just sneak around yours and figure out where it is. And then she's like, well, I'm still stronger than you. You're not going to leave here in one piece. And then she's like, oh, one more thing. I lied. I'm not really less powerful than you. And she just basically sighs him right into the wall. So now they know where Bumblebee's memories are, and that's where they're going. Titans together, baby. Here we go. I don't like this whole Wally West with the pace. All right, Kyle, it was great having you in here for a little bit. Definitely pop by again. I'll see. I won't be doing a live show for a bit till probably next Wednesday. But anyway, all right. But I don't like the whole Wally having a pacemaker. It kind of throws me off. Speaking of throws off, Supergirl issue 10. They're in the Phantom Zone. I am so not interested in this story arc. It's not even funny. I'm literally holding on to this book until the new artist comes in. And then if the story still doesn't deliver, I'm probably going to let it go. We get a little bit at the beginning about what's going on with oh, God, I forgot. The Emerald Empress and Magog and that whole group. I guess we're going to get more about the Legion later on in the series. That's another reason why I'm sticking around. But Supergirl, Batgirl, and Supergirl's friend are still trapped in the Phantom Zone. And they're going to use Supergirl's blood, basically, to get this woman to do what, I forgot what this guy's name was, to get out of the Phantom Zone and to be free again. And he's like this weird Kryptonian scientist. They end up breaking out and fighting, and the girl finds out about Kara being there. She sees Kara get kind of taken down. She breaks out into this big dragon thing, and basically Kara believes she has to save her by jumping in head first, and to be continued. I don't know. I'm not really into this Phantom Zone story arc. It's really, truly not holding me. And if not for knowing that this is only going to be like another issue or two, I probably would have dropped this book. I don't know that many people who are still sticking with Supergirl, as a matter of fact. A lot of people have ended up dropping it. I'm going to stick around a little bit longer. But if the story continues not to hold me, I'll probably end up at least moving this to a digital pile. More than likely, the way things are going, let's see what the next couple of issues show, and then we'll go from there. But definitely not as strong as, for example, Superwoman. This is Superwoman issue number 11. Well, okay then. So we get more backstory on Zeke and on Natasha's father, how he does dirty dealings. He was doing a dirty deal with this guy Skyhook, and that's how he got his money. He ended up getting thrown in jail. And now you've got Skyhook, who's free, and she wants to find Skyhook to find out where Zeke is to save Zeke. And she goes to Maggie Sawyer as herself, not as Superwoman, to get answers. And then we find out that Atomic Skull's basically cleaned up. He asked Remnant, because they're looking for Skyhook too. So Atomic Skull basically threatens Remnant if he doesn't help out in finding Skyhook. He could put Remnant in a place even worse than the worst place in Arkham, in Stryker's Island. So Remnant gives him all he knows. Lana kind of catches an ear of it, and as Superwoman ends up finding Remnant, and this is kind of leading into where the end of the last issue was, where she's fighting Remnant and he gets away. Because we opened up in the last issue where they were fighting on the train, I believe, and we closed with them fighting over the city or something. So that's where we're at now at the end of this book. So we're getting a lot of backstory. It's very out of order, which I don't like. But anyway, Lana ends up losing Skyhook, and now she's kind of failed in finding Zeke. So what next? To be continued. Really interesting stuff. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Super Sons, Planet of the Capes. That's going to be very interesting. Looks like Superboy might be joining the Teen Titans. You'll have Superboy to read soon. Oh. Possibly. Sorry, I noticed a coming attraction. Really interesting stuff. Superwoman definitely stronger than Supergirl, but Supergirl very, very weak. Now, what we were talking about at the beginning, and I love this metallic-looking cover. It looks really nice. I'm going to take this out because it won't show with the cover. It's a metallic-looking cover. We got Dark Days, The Forge. Next month, and I hope I pre-order.
Does it have the side thing? Like...
But it doesn't have a spine. But it has a very glossy cover. Good on you, DC. And it's a $5 book, but you made sure to give us some nice gloss and some nice stuff, nice solid pages with it. But there's a lot that goes on in this book. A lot. One thing we see, and I actually have Jay's message to me because I wanted to make sure I got it right. Jay is the person I go to. Jay is the person I think we all go to when we want to make sure about facts or when we want to get facts. But there's a couple of connections to Hawkman. Now, what I was saying was there is Dark Days, another book coming out next month. I hope I pre-ordered it. If not, I'll get it from Midtown for sure. But there's The Forge this month. There's, I believe, I don't know if they say it here. They probably, no, they don't. But The Forge is now. And then there's another one in, there's a prelude to Metal, to the event Metal, which I believe is starting in September. And that's another universe like the Young Animals. But it opens up with a bit of Hawkman. Then we get Batman, who's researching the metals in the earth. He finds that there's a metal that's wrong. We have Hal Jordan that's sent on a mission by Gantha, a secret mission, and the place he has to go to is in the middle of the Batcave where he fights Duke. I really wonder if Bruce is sprucing Duke up to be like a new Batman, and Bruce is going to step down. That would be stupid. But we find out that Duke's mom actually was part of another team called the Immortal Man. Was it the Immortal Men? Was that the group? The Immortal Men, yes. And because she's insane, she doesn't remember any of this. She hasn't divulged any information. We have Batman who's having, Hawkman who has nightmares about the cover that we saw with the Batman and the statue and the bat symbol machines. And then, of course, John Romita Jr. has to jump in, which it wasn't. John Romita Jr.'s art wasn't that bad in this book. I know, shocker, right? But Batman and Mr. Terrific, he has Mr. Terrific, who's been on Earth too, and he's Batman's freaking spy. He's getting all the information from Earth 2 and bringing it back to Batman, who's kind of learning about the multiverse himself, because he's learning about this metal that's out of place. And then he has something that's in this container. Now, I'm wondering if that can't be Plastic Man. I don't know why, but I looked at this picture and I'm like, is that Plastic Man, like in the eggshell or something? I don't know, but it just threw me off. And then you got Green Lantern and Duke going even deeper. And we find out that Batman knew about the metal since the Court of Owl days, where he punched Dick's tooth out, and the tooth had this specific new type of metal in it. And ever since then, he's been doing like this secret research that he's even been keeping it from Superman, because he goes to the Fortress of Solitude and he's like, remember that room I told you about, Clark, that I told you not to look in, and that, you know, one day I'd explain to you what it was, but you can't go in there, and I need you to trust me. So he has Mr. Miracle open it up. Mr. Miracle goes nuts. And now this is what I want to show you guys, because Batman found this. For those of you that know Crisis on Infinite Earths or Infinite Crisis, you know what this is, but I had to make sure, so I did talk to Jay about this, and he confirmed. It's the multiversal tuning fork. It basically maps out the vibranial frequencies of the multiverse. The Monitor used it to merge the 5 remaining the 5 universes that the Anti-Monitor didn't destroy into one. So basically, the tuning fork is what brought the pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths together to form one, which is what we had from 1986 to 2011. And then basically, we then see it again in Infinite Crisis when Alexander Luthor of Earth 2 created the antimatter tower. So that was the next time we saw it. So basically, Batman got his hands on the tuning fork, and that's what sends Mr. Terrific a little crazy. And then we also find out that Batman has a Joker. I don't know if that's the Joker or one of the 4 Jokers he found out that there were around as a prisoner, because he knows about what's going on. And there was a lot. This was a very deep book. It's too much. It would take me, as long as this entire cast is, it would take me that long to explain this entire book. So what I can say is this. Check out this book. I probably won't be checking out any of the physical books from Metal, but I am liking Dark Days, because I feel like this is also setting up for the big event that's supposed to happen in DC next summer. And then we conclude it all. Yes, we finally made it, everybody. Woo! Because I need to go to bed soon.
So do I.
Action Comics, issue number 981. Revenge. So we talked about Zod's point of view. Now we're going to talk about Superman's point of view. He's trapped inside the blackness that is the the abyss. And he's seeing his worst nightmares, which is supposed to drive him crazy. And then, of course, as I told you guys in Suicide Squad, there's the huge explosion that blows up that prevents the Kryptonian army from coming through. Well, it hurts Superman. And all throughout the book, you hear Superman saying that he's acting like something's wrong. And, you know, he has a little bit of dialogue with Amanda Waller. We get to see him fight with Zod, Eradicator, and Cyborg Superman, and he's not doing so well. And he's like, I can't do this because, and every time he's ready to say it, he kind of gets cut off. And I like how, as this is going on, you have Supergirl watching, you have Lois and John watching, you have Lex Luthor watching, you have Keenan watching, and all of them are like, Keenan's like, how long will it take to get from Hong Kong to America? You have Lex saying, cancel my appointments. You have Supergirl kind of concerned about what's going on. No Lana, though. I guess that's because Lana's still figuring out her power. So it looks like, you know, Superman was getting the family together because of Oz, Mr. Oz, not Dr. Oz, Mr. Oz. So now they're seeing Superman fighting this revenge squad. It makes sense, because one man, he fought all these guys one-on-one, and it took everything out of him to fight them one-on-one. So it makes sense that for the revenge squad, Superman's going to have the Superman family pop in and fight the Revenge Squad. So it's going to be the Super Family versus the Revenge Squad. It makes more sense, because if Superman had a hard enough time fighting them one at a time, could you imagine all of them at the same time? It's not going to work. So Superman ends up running away. The Revenge Squad ends up going back to the moon. And that's where we get the ending where Superman admits, and this is a big spoiler here, he's blind.
What?
The abyss blinded him. Well, obviously, it's not going to stick. We all know it's not going to stick.
No.
It won't stick. It's temporary. But at this moment, he's blind. what happened to him was when the explosion happened and he was living through this nightmare, his eyes were wide open, so he probably got blinded by the light. So now we got to figure out how he's going to get unblind and face the Revenge Squad. I know, we all know he'll be cured, but man, that was I had a feeling throughout the whole book, because all you saw were like these squiggly lines, like heartbeats and whatnot. I had a feeling he wasn't able to see well, but when he's like, I'm blind. We've seen this before where Superman was blind, where he was deaf, a bunch of different things. This looks really interesting. I can't wait. Now, normally I review this book. I had a hectic, busy weekend. I did record the review. Then I wanted to re-record it, so I deleted the original review. So what I'm going to do is in 2 weeks, I'm going to do a dual review with this issue, 981 and 982. Not this week, obviously, the following week. That will be my first video back, and that will probably be either on Friday or Saturday, which I believe is the last Saturday of the month. Let me double check. Yeah. Or is it the first? No, Saturday is July 1st. So on July 1st is when we officially will be back on Frontline. Now, let me tell you guys what's going on now. If you're watching this on my channel, you're already in the middle of the week that we're gone. If you are watching this later on in life, well, this already happened. But for the next 2 weeks, the week of the 19th and the week of the 26th, Michael and I will not be on any live shows. As a matter of fact, Dark Avenger Live is canceled for both weeks. We won't be on Frontline Live this Tuesday or next Tuesday. The Dark Avenger comic book review, the next one, episode 298, will actually, you guys will see us right. You guys will see us before Saturday. That review will be on Wednesday night. I should have the time Wednesday night to throw out the review. So we will not be going live next Monday. It will be next Wednesday on the 28th. We will be doing the Dark Avenger comic book review because Tuesday is Frontline Live. So we're going to be doing it the night after, unless Media Madness is happening, which it just hit me. It probably is. If so, then we'll go live on Thursday, or whichever day is not Media Madness is the day we will do the comic review, or we might actually just do a video. I think that's probably, yeah, next week we're probably going to be doing it as video, so I apologize. It won't be a live show next week just because I just realized we have other live shows that go on
Best
Frontline.
If we do it as a video.
Right. So we will have a live show the following weekend, which will be $3.99. The following Monday for the week of the 3rd, we will have $3.99 live again, and then $400 will be that following Sunday. So that Sunday, which will be July 9th, will be $400.
People might not be on because they watch the pay-per-view.
Well, that's when it's going to happen. So I'll try to do it after the pay-per-view, or maybe we'll try to do it Monday again. I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. There will be the announcement video, though, however, on Saturday. I will be doing the announcement video that weekend. So the first weekend of July, there will be the announcement video right before we do the 400th comic review. Maybe we'll throw some videos up on my channel as well, but we will be MIA from Comic Frontline the next 2 weeks. We'll be on no live shows. There'll be no Dark Avenger Live, and the next review, which will be $3.98, will be a video, and it'll probably be posted up on either Tuesday before Frontline Live or probably more than likely Wednesday morning. It really depends when Mike and I get the chance to record, if we get the chance to record between then and now with all that's going to be going on. But we will be back July 1st, which is a Saturday. That's when I'll have my dual reviews up. Michael will still have his reviews going up on time. I'm more busy than Michael. I'm going to have a lot going on. So Michael will probably have his reviews up on time, but we won't be on any live shows, like I said, for the next 2 weeks because of all the crazy stuff that will be going on. But anyway, guys, that's it. Keep an eye on my channel, Dark Avenger Podcast. There'll be two, one before 400 and one after, which will talk about all of the announcements and whatnot, or the announcement video and whatnot. But yeah, thank you all so much for being with us tonight, everybody who popped on for the live show. As always, we are Comic Frontline, your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. If you like what you saw here and you're new, click that sub button down below. This way we are in your sub box and you don't miss out on a single video. Also, click the notification bell so when we go live, you're notified. This way you'll know when we're live and you can come check out our shows. We do at least 3 a week unless we're on vacation.
Yep.
So Mike and I won't be around for the next 2 weeks, like I said. Also, if you're watching this on my channel, you're watching this on Monday, the following week. or no, I said Friday I was going to post these. So probably Monday for this one. So this one will be on Monday. Next week's we'll see what happens there. But anyway, stuff's coming up on this channel as well. Stay tuned. Like I said, go check out the announcement on Frontline because it'll explain a few things that are going on here. The ball was Plastic Man, and Scott Snyder is not going to address the 3 Joker plot for Johns and King. Okay, so the ball, Jeremy Renfro does confirm, was Plastic Man, but the Joker plots are not going to be discussed on Dark Forge. Okay, makes sense. All right, guys, take care. Have a great night. Enjoy the next 2 weeks. We will see you guys live again in 2 weeks. Till then, he'll have a couple of videos. We'll have the Dark Avenger review later next week. And take care. Keep reading, keep collecting. And we'll see you guys as soon as everything gets done.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.